Hey everybody, Anthony Trucks here, your Hump Day Hustle series. I lost track of episodes at this moment. I think it's number 7, quite possibly could be, but I just want to say welcome. I am the author of Trust Your Hustle, A Life Forged by Fire, and I'm here to talk about a really unique concept or thought process or topic that I think may get me in trouble. I don't know, maybe it won't. Hopefully it doesn't, but I'm just gonna be as candid as possible because it's just me. I wear interesting t-shirts because it's what I like to do, but I also like to have very thorough conversations. So here's the one topic, cheating. You know, cheating on your partner, on your spouse, like what does this do to affect you? And I have a really personal tie to this, really. Take things back years ago. You know, I was in the NFL. And in the NFL, I'm not saying everyone's like this by all means, but there are a group of guys who, you know, that I played with, and there are people who, they were married, they had kids, and one day I would meet this person's wife. Hi, nice to meet you. The next day I'd meet their girlfriend. Hi, nice to meet you. The next day I'd meet their other girlfriend. Hi, nice to meet you. Now, you know, for me at this time when I was in the NFL, I was married, I had a son, and I was faithful. Now, one thing I can honestly say for God and my kids and my wife is that I never have once in my life cheated, ever. And there's a reason why, and it's not because I'm special or something unique, like I have morals. For me, the big thing is I would not be able to look myself in a mirror tomorrow morning if I did. Does that mean that I look down upon those who did it? By all means, no, and I'm gonna explain why in a moment, but for me personally, I couldn't do it because I don't want to have to look at that person and that person, me in the mirror, and be like, what did you do? Not only that, but it hurts my family, you know? So that was me. But the reason more so why is I got to see firsthand what it does to people. You know, if you're a guy or a girl, and I have a personal tie to this because I was cheated on in my marriage. You know, my wife had an affair. And I've since forgave her. We've had some amazing conversations. We're actually back together now. It's a long story. I'm not gonna share it now, but I got to see a different perspective. So I got to see somebody after the fact, which I'm gonna talk about that. But I wanna start with saying, you know, the people that I watched go through this, you know, you have two sides of the coin. You know, everybody in a monogamous relationship has that stress, that pain of like, I see all these other people, what if I'm with them? You know, what if I'm with them? And like all these different things that start flying in your mind of like, am I happy? Is this the right person? You know, whatever it may be, or you just get enticed. You see a beautiful guy or a beautiful girl and you just can't help yourself, right? So you have the flip of the coin to do this. One, I can suffer the pain of right now getting through this portion knowing that I'll have endless happiness because at the end of the day, I did not take the step and do wrong. Or you can say, I'm gonna have the pleasure now. It's gonna feel great, but later, a lifelong aspect of pain. If somebody catches you, if something happens, and I guess it's gonna be a moral base, what you choose to do. If you see that as like, I can't live with it, then hey, can't live with it. If you can, you can. But here's what I will tell you. At the end of the day, I live by this really, really simple saying is, what you do in the dark comes to the light. The things you think are hidden, nobody knows, people usually find out about. And so I got to watch firsthand these guys do these stupid things, not just in the NFL, but in life. I own a gym and I saw it happen. The world falls apart. You know what happens is, if you get caught, let's say you get caught, you know, you've had this great relationship and everything you have is based in this. Your house, your home, your kids, your family, your girlfriend, you know, their mom, their brother, their sister, and all of a sudden find out that you did that person wrong. All the people that looked at you positively now look at you negatively. You're not welcome in certain places. You look around like, does somebody know me or know what I did? Not only that, but it gets to the point where you can't hold your head high because you don't know if someone that you know, who knows, is gonna be there. So you avoid places. You don't go to certain situations. And that leaves you kind of in this wrong where it's like, man, I got caught. Like, you always regret it. I never saw a person who got caught not regret doing it. And maybe you're different, but I never saw a person who did that get caught and not regret having done it. Not apologize, not feel sorry like you're like, I'm sorry. Unless that person was a horrible person, and believe me, some relationships are abusive and I get it. In certain areas, I say leave as best you can, but if you're in it, you're in it. And then what happens is you do this wrong thing, you feel bad because you hurt the person, and then now you regret it. So on the other side of it is, maybe you don't get caught. And this was the one I saw the most. You don't get caught. But here's what happens in your life. You have this weird stress. The stress falls in the place of, you have 2 phone calls. You have 3 phone calls coming in. You don't know if it's gonna be your wife or your girlfriend or other girlfriend. And so what happens is you have to hide your phone all the time. You have this stress built up. You can't remember what conversation you had. You slip up, you gotta make a lie. You gotta cover that lie with another lie, and this lie with another lie, and another lie, and another lie, and it's a big circle of lies. Next thing you know, you forgot about this lie. And you get caught on this line, you gotta do it all over again. Then you're back and forth, and it becomes this humongous ball of stress having to walk around in your belly every single day. Physically, it feels good. Yeah, physically, it's like, oh, I'm getting my needs met maybe. But if you're not, you have this stress that sits in your belly all day. Not knowing who's gonna call, can I keep my phone in the open? There's a prison of your mind. There's no internal freedom. You have this prison in your mind, and you're locked in, and you can't get out of it. And then if you want to leave, then you're trapped, because if you have a wife and it's a girl and you want to leave your girl to go back with your wife, she wants to tell your wife, and it's this crazy blow-up cycle. So I sit back and I see these things take place. I've watched them unfold multiple times in people I've seen or known, and that for me was the biggest thing of like, yeah, I'll never do that. One of the biggest things, I cannot live in that world knowing that everything could fall apart in 1 second. Now the flip side of the coin is this. For those who have been cheated on, I'm in your boat, I get it. Like, I've lived to a point where I didn't want to live anymore. You know, my world was upended by a person that I now can say I love again. It's a really weird concept. I don't know if I can explain to people in this short video, which is getting longer than I presume, but hopefully you like it so far. But I was with a person, and this person cheated on me. Now, we had 3 kids, house, home, businesses, everything was great. From the outside, it looked great, but then internally there were some problems going on. And a choice had to be made. I pushed this person to a place to have to make a choice. I neglected certain areas of my life, and I'll admit that. As a man, I'll admit that, right? But they made a decision they shouldn't have made. Fine. We got to a point where I got angry, the cycle of getting angry and being pissed and everything, was still in their horrible person. Then I got to the point where I flip-sided it, and I got to forgive. And I don't mean kind of forgive, I mean genuinely forgive. And I got to forgive when we could have a conversation where I wasn't angry anymore. It was just, I want to know what happened, what was going through the person's head. And what you come to find out is someone in that position sometimes is forced into that position, right? By means outside of their control. Maybe they just want to do it, that's fine, right? Curiosity got them. But sometimes when they're in it, they do want to get out of it. They do want to change the process, but you get stuck in a dark hole. I mean, it's a vicious cycle of trying to cover a lie with a lie, and that doesn't feel good. You know, and this person, we've had these conversations a lot, and it's like, I really, really feel for them. In a weird way, although it was done to me, I get it. And it took a long time for me to get that, believe me, it took a real long time, but I found that sometimes people do these things and they are in a vicious spinning circle that they don't know how to get off of. It's like being on a carousel and it's flying full speed. You just can't hop off the side, you're gonna get hurt more than you know, or the fear of jumping off to get that kind of hurt sucks. So you're kind of trapped in this vicious cycle, and it is a cage. It is truly a cage. It is not positive. So I have 2 sides of this view. One side is never do it. If you can stand off and hold your ground and say, I'm not gonna go do this act, don't do it. The price you will pay will be more than you're willing to deal with. I promise you that every single time it will be. You'll lose more than you know, and it's things that you will not realize you're losing until they're gone. On the flip side, if there's somebody in your life who's doing that to you, take a step back and look internally before you start looking externally all day long. Because there are a lot of things that you can figure out about how that took place, where that person was at, with empathy and care and respect and love, if you're able to say, what did I do to get us here? What did that person, what did this person do to get us to this point? Because if you can get to the fact of the matter is, there are always 2 people in a relationship, nothing is one-sided. If you can take that back, you can find out, 1, how to fix it, because it's always fixable. They're looking for something that you're not giving them. You find out what it is and give it to them, you're back where you want to be. Or you find out how to forgive so that you can move on with your life. Because for me, I was in a hole until I could actually forgive. When I was able to forgive, it set me free. It allowed me to have a chance to better myself for the future, for my kids, for my new wife, for my family. Like, I could be a happy guy again and not harbor this anger and this pain, because forgiveness is not just for the person. Forgiveness is heavily for you, to let it go. So I hope you guys gathered something from this and you can apply it somewhere in your life if you've had this happen to you, or if you're doing it now. If you're doing it now, stop. I know it's weird, you have these connections with people, stop as best you can, stop. It will be hard, but it's gonna be way harder if someone finds out, I promise you that. Or at some point your moral compass will fall apart completely and the person that you can be will no longer be, because you'll be too far gone. On the other side, the person who's experiencing this right now, it's not you. It's something you may have contributed to, but it's not like it's just you as a horrible person. It never is that. At the end of the day, I felt like I was a loss on human society. You know, I felt like I was just ugly and unappreciated. Nobody cared. I didn't have this big heart and I was just a loser, right? But it's never the case. The fact of the matter is I contributed to the situation I was in, but I kind of pushed the person I cared to have to even make a decision in the first place. So look internally before you look externally. I know it's kind of a weird one, but I hope you guys gathered something from it. If you know somebody experiencing this, going through it, on either side of the spectrum, send it out to them. They need to hear it. If you ever have any questions on it specifically, I'm an open book. You can send me a message or an email, whatever you choose. The email is atrucks@anthonytrucks.com. I would love to communicate about it because I find that I have a personal side to it. So again, if all else fails and everything's going wrong in life, remember you can always trust your hustle to live an unexpected life.